Alright, so you always wanted to be a wolf druid, but you never got into it. So today I'm gonna give you a normal build to be a wolf druid. So the first thing I have to tell you is that I always go with pure classes, unless they are melees, and then I can just do whatever I want. You can stop getting levels in a class once you stop getting caster levels and spell circles you can use for the DC. But for the druid, you can see that the druid has one spell that is very important at level 9, and that is the snow slide spell. Now, I don't know if the description is bugged, but it's definitely not taking into account my stun bonuses. I don't know if this will ever get fixed, as this game is full of bugs and things that are broken, and the druid being like, you know, not in the priority list possibly, along with many other classes. Now, another spell you have at your disposal is Howl of Terror, but that's an enchantment spell and you're probably gonna go with a physical route, so you're not gonna be focusing on wisdom anyways. Regardless, a Snow Slide is mandatory to be a Wolf Druid. I don't think any other build is gonna be like fun, unless you're like a completionist and have everything at your disposal. So, let's start from the beginning. What is your role and what are your stats? So this is an average character. I have average gear on myself, nothing particularly crazy. So let's start with the stats. Which one is going to be your damage stat? Your damage stat is going to be strength. Although I've been pondering wisdom as my damage stat, because I can cast spells and I help myself with the crowd controlling. But strength is what I chose and strength is what I'm gonna go with. Now, armor class is not gonna be your best bet here to survive. You got normal saving throws, nothing crazy, and you have some decent PRR for a DPS and an average character with average loot. So keep in mind that this is a third life character, so it's not gonna have completionist, and it's gonna be a very relatable experience. So if maybe you are starting fresh, you have a new character, you don't have all the gear in the game, so this is gonna be like your default character. So you start with like 16 strength and you get all your level ups into strength. You can start with 14 with the dexterity. Now I think, yes, it's 14 dexterity, 16 constitution, intelligence is 8, and wisdom starts at 16. I just put 1 point there because why not? I just like even stats, as you can see from my strength. Never mind that, whatever. Charisma, don't really care, 8 is fine. So as for the leveling process, it's gonna be like pretty straightforward. So as for feat, you're gonna be taking natural fighting, if I can find it. With that, you take all the 3 stacks of natural fighting. That's the only thing you have to worry about. I took power attack, cleave, and great cleave because with the rework, they're actually very good and they're worth the feat expenditure. Now this thing, great cleave, deals 1 critical, deals 40% more damage, 1 critical range, and 2 critical multiplier. So this is very good, and the cleave is also decent. 20% damage, 1 critical range, 1 critical multi. I think it's great. Now power attack you can use during the leveling process, but I'm not using it now. I'm using precision, which I took later on when I was approaching epics. That's when I switched from power attack to precision. Now before the modification to cleave and great cleave, I only took power attack and I switched it out for precision with the free feat exchange from Fred, because you don't really need 5 damage with a scimitar, right? You'd rather have this one, 5% to hit. 5% to hit means that basically if you roll a grazing hit on a 9 with 5%, you're going to be rolling a grazing hit on an 8. And that's going to stack up. This game is about all the little things that you can give your character to become better. I took weapon finesse because it's going to help me with bypassing fortification. This is very important because we're going to cover a role whether you're playing solo or not, and this is going to be very good. Fortification bypass allows me to crit, but also to land sneak attacks, because some creatures are naturally immune to sneak attacks. They have 100% fortification, maybe even more, I don't know the stats, but this allows me to land sneak attacks. The same token enemies will land sneak attacks on you. If your fortification is not good enough, they may bypass it. So keep that in mind. I got the heighten spell. I don't remember why I got this thing, but I got it. You can pick anything else. You don't really need to heighten anything here. I guess I was just trying to experiment with things, but that's the build. You take critical slashing because you want to use your scimitar with a shield for the added PRR. Some people prefer to go with a falchion, so you may take a falchion proficiency in place of the heighten spell. It's gonna be, oh yeah, maybe because I wanted to use a low level spell and see if it worked, but whatever. You can take the falchion instead and use only a two-handed weapon. It's not gonna give you strike through though, because keep in mind, as a druid, in your shape, you're gonna use the fighting style of your form. So unless you're an elemental, in which case, sure. If you are a bear, you're gonna be you're gonna be using strike through regardless of your weapon. If you're a wolf, you're gonna be using, you know, something similar to the single weapon style, which is very fast, but only one weapon. Keep that in mind. So you can skip Grit Cleave and Cleave, but as you can see, I still use them in my rotation. And that is because the critical multiplier in epics, where everything is around crits, is going to be very good, especially when I knock people down and I random them helpless in the off chance that this thing works. This is going to help me a lot. And I use it quite often. In fact, I use it always. It's part of my rotation. If you want to remove that, you can remove that. I wouldn't do that, honestly. I think Cleave and Grit Cleave are such good feats that honestly, there's no need to exchange them. So for the Destiny feats, I took Crush Weakness because I wanted to focus this build on dealing damage to helpless people. Because I went under the assumption that, I mean, eventually playing with other people, you know, you're gonna meet someone who can render helpless. Because either you find a way to render helpless the enemies, or you get some helpless debuff from other people. This is going to be very good. Remember, your role is going to be that of a DPS. We're going to get into that. I took double strike, obviously, because the wolf gets a lot of natural double strike. Got perfect natural fighting. I got tactician, +2 to my tactical feat DCs, which does technically not work, I think. Maybe it does. I don't remember, but I took it. Titan's Blood is 10% legendary bonus to maximum hit points because you need to survive. The first thing I took is Eerie Aim at level 21. I'm sorry, but you need this. This is going to give you +10 attack. This is going to reduce your grazing hits. You get a 5% dodge bypass and a 5% deflection bypass. You don't need the deflection bypass, you just need the dodge and the attack. I got overwhelming critical. You can take these in whatever order you prefer, whichever order you prefer. Except Eerie Aim, you get that at 21. Maybe you can exchange that for natural fighting, but whatever. Patience is another one of my favorites because my attack speed is reduced by 10%, but I gain a +1 critical multiplier with all weapons. So I think all in all, when I click this button, there is no attack speed for Quick Cutter. So I'm gonna get a +1 multiplier on the Quick Cutter, on the Cleave and Great Cleave. And as you can see, being a glass cannon, I can't afford to stay in melee. So attack speed is not really my concern, and the wolf gets enough attack speed to be very fast anyways. So it's not like I lose a lot. I took Shion of the Astral Plane, but if you want, you can take the one from the Ethereal Plane that gives you sneak attacks to get more damage in if you're a party player and you know how to reliably land sneak attacks. Because I play mostly solo, I thought maybe more tactical DCs, double striking is fantastic, and dodge cap is gonna be great for me because I'm a glass cannon, I don't have much armor class, PRR is just decent. So every little bit of dodge is gonna help me. Past life, I only have ancient tactics because that's what this card is gonna do. Monk and Paladin as a past life, don't care. Did we get everything done? I think we got everything done here. Yeah, pretty much. This is the feat allotment. Obviously, you get evasion from the epic trees. As for spells, the only spells that you need are takedown. This is a trip. It has high DC and it's gonna knock down people. It's not gonna render them helpless, but it's gonna help. Ram's Might, that's what you need. It's gonna give you +2 damage and +2 sides bonus to strength, which is going to be replaced by animal growth. So for level 2, you only need resist energy and you're gonna need Baskin. Now, you can get Flame Blade. Flame Blade is gonna change your stat damage from whatever it is to wisdom. They require wisdom. They are not physical blades. They're like a flame made of, that's like a blade made of flame. The problem is it's fire damage. What you can do here, if you want to be Snilly Snazzy, is get the Fade Arc Illusionist and imbue your flame. No, you cannot imbue your flame blade. Sorry. Never mind about that. You cannot imbue that, I think. So never mind. But if you want to do some fire damage, maybe you're heading to some place like Rizia or whatever, you can just, use Flame Blade and just keep in mind that if an enemy is immune to fire damage, you're going to be dealing 0 damage. So just keep that in mind. You can just remove the Flame Blade and switch your weapon back on. As for anything else, there's nothing specific here that really is going to help you much. Just get some damaging spell during your leveling process, because at the end of the day, it's still, some damage if you want. Then we're gonna get here. Now, Animal Growth is gonna give you the same thing as Ram Might, but it's double the stats. So Ram's Might is gonna give you +2 damage, and then you get a sides bonus to Strength and Constitution from Animal Growth. Also, I forgot, Shillelag is gonna be another spell you want. This is like a buff you cast at the beginning. It's gonna increase your base damage of your weapon. Anything else here is, like situation like Death Ward, you want to reincarnate, you want to be healing, so get all the heals, by the way, freedom of movement, get all the utility spells that you need, all the buffs you can cast. Greater Dispel Magic is something I always pick, because if I'm not a rogue, if I cannot disarm any trap, at least I can dispel the wards. So if you don't know, you can dispel wards. Wards are like spells, they're trap spells, but they have a DC, so you can lower the DC until it reaches 0, at which point you're gonna dispel the ward and you can pass safely. The problem is spotting the ward. So, Fire Shield is whenever I feel like I want to click one more time, I get one extra buff for a small amount of time. Now, Frostbite, you get one extra D10. It's nothing great past heroics, so you can just have it. Now you have Greater Keeping Jaws of Winter. I think this is a very nice spell for doing Necro 4, where you have to go into Inferno of the Damned, and you have to snuff out the flames. You need cold, and you need a flame spell like Flame Strike to light the flame in one dimension, and you need to snuff out the flames in the other. You can use this one. We then have other spells that are completely useless. We can use the Bitter Generate and Vigor. These two stacks because they're different type of spells, but this Vigor with this Vigor does not stack. So Vigor and Regenerate, they do stack. Then we finally get Heal at level 8 spell. And you get, so if you want to go the Wisdom route, you can go with the Caster route and get Evocation. Maybe you have a character that has a lot of past lives that do enhance the DC, and you can reliably land Earthquake. That's fantastic. Pick it up. Hall of Terror is for those who want to paralyze enemy. Now this spell does not cause helplessness, so keep that in mind. You're not going to be getting extra damage against helpless. You need to focus on enchantment, and most likely this is going to be your only spell based on enchantment that you're going to land. So it's pretty much situational. You have to make a build around it. That's up to you. I don't use this because I'm not focused around casting. And finally, at level 9, which is what makes multi-classing a Druid Wolf really dangerous, we're gonna get Snowslide. Snowslide is like a spell that allows me to slide with a wolf, and everything I touch has to make a saving throw or become frozen in ice. That condition, while it should give some DR from being frozen, it makes the enemies helpless, and that triggers my helplessness bonuses. So that's something I use. It's also an escape ability. You can use it to escape enemies, as it gives you a burst of speed for a certain amount of time. Also, we get regenerate mass, which is always good. It's not going to be fantastically powerful, but you can lob it and you're going to get some HP. Maybe you can lob it at the beginning of the fight, so you can get some healing while you're fighting. Storm of Vengeance and Tsunami. Now, Storm of Vengeance is decent along with Storm Rage, but you know, I'd have to click too many things with the Druid, so I usually don't use them. Alright, as for the enhancement trees, this is what I've been tampering with. So I've tried to go Nature's Warriors, Nature Protector, or Nature's Warrior and Falconry, full-on Falconry. But I found this to be the possibly, so far, the most effective split I found. So we're gonna obviously take the Nature's Warrior. We're gonna be wanting all the cores because they give me 1 sneak attack dice for each core. So we get a total of 6 sneak attack dice. Then I want you dice. And then I want you to take the tier 5. Now, I've tampered with this and I do not find them to be useful. Now, Alpha Strike needs to be updated because this thing allows you to deal 50% more damage. Alright, and reduce melee power, range power, spell power by 25 for 15 seconds. You know, on hit for targets above 85%. So this is like an opener. Like you use go for the kill to charge at an enemy, get a boost in melee power, then use the Alpha Strike to you know, lower their melee power. But I don't find this to be attractive, and it's also gonna use a lot of enhancement points. So we have a split of 41 APs on the Nature Warrior. I'm gonna take the Improved 3 because that's very important. Both Go for the Kill and the Takedown, they require a trip. So this is gonna increase my DC, this is gonna increase my crowd controlling abilities. Reflex saves by Chew and Fortitude by Chew. This is like a no-brainer, like we need saves. I took this one, 3 bonus to hit, 3 physical and magical resistance rating. I don't care about the 3 PRR or MRR. I just care about the bonus to hit because you need a lot of to hit. And every +1, +2, +3 you can get is gonna help you break through that grazing hit barrier. This is a must. Gain Ghost Touch while in wolf form on your melee attacks. You get this as tier 2. It's gonna solve all your problems against Reapers, against Ghosts, whatever. And then you upgrade to Ghost Wolf Pack. You gain a melee attack that confuse enemies for 5 seconds. Alright, you gain 35 incorporeal defense for 10 seconds, which does not stack with your stance from the Shadow Dancer, but whatever. It's 10% more still. It has a big cooldown of 1 minute, so you got to use this sparingly. That is why I also got the Shadow form. I cannot always have the incorporeal defense, you know? I took the 3 dodge because, not being a tanky character, I need to rely on some other means of protection. As a druid, I don't have access to a lot of armor class, even with some bonuses from the Nature Protector. And the fact that I can only wear you know, non-metal armors because I don't have the tier 5 in Nature Protector, and being a wolf, I can only go for light, medium and heavy, but they have to be leather or hide. Basically anything that is non-metal, because clearly metal is not nature, right? You don't mine metal, right? Anyways, I digress. Flight is very good because it gives you a 20% dodge bonus for 30 seconds that ignores your dodge cap. Now this costs wild empathy charges, so use it while you are in a oh shit moment. But it's very good, it's very nice to have something that boosts your survivability. And this is very important, fight. This gives you +3 base melee damage, but it's actually gonna give you more. I don't know why. The AC is irrelevant, we don't have enough AC. But the 3 base melee damage is very good. It's actually much more, so this is a mandatory enhancement to take. Alright, then we switch to tier 4. Fatal Harrier. Killing an enemy grants you 5% enhancement bonus, and it stacks 5 times. We gain a bonus to reflex save, sure, whatever. Okay, that's good. But the enhancement bonus to attack speed for 20 seconds, it's probably not gonna stack to, it's gonna be inefficient until you get a fourth stack where you can surpass your boots or the blinding speed feat. But it's good regardless, especially in heroics where you don't have a 15% boost to speed. Probably 7% is more likely. So this, I mean, killing 2 enemies gives you already a boost in speed. For the tier 5, we're gonna take obviously Swift Hunter because this increases my Winter Wolf form, and the combat speed is increased to 30%. So this is mandatory skill. And lastly, we have Go for the Kill, which is our opener most of the times. You charge the enemy, you gain 50 melee power boost for 30 seconds. Now if you charge from a distance, you get double the melee power. This additional 50 points of damage to helpless targets and scales with melee power. A successful balance check negates the knockdown. Very interesting. Now we get my stat boosting here. So 2 points in strength, 1 and 2. And I take all the cores from this tree. Now I'm specializing on double strike. That's why I'm going for this core. It gives me plus 2 strength and wisdom, and it gives me plus 10 double strike and PRR. Absolutely good. Now, Nature Protector. I'm not gonna go full on Nature Protector. I got 23 points and that's about it. I take the defensive stance, which gives me, 8 plus 12, that gives me 20 PRR. And then I take the plus 3 secret bonus to all saving throws, because saving throws are key in this game. I get the natural armor bonus just to get here and get 2 more points of strength. I also get plus 6 to magical resistance rating. And I get this one, Animal Brutality, which gives me Intimidate, Swim and Jump, but grants me plus 1 to 8 and damage. It's just a plus 1, and I don't have anything else here to choose. I do not recommend going the Rage route, although it gives you quite a lot of melee power. If you get it up to here and go full on 41-39, you can grab the ability to cast Druidic Magic while raging, and Rage gives you a lot of melee power. This is a bonus here. 6 melee power in wolf bear form, double this if you're using a barbarian rage, is very good. Problem is, you won't be able to rage and use precision at the same time. Now, I can switch because I can use power attack, so I can switch to power attack, no worries, I can proc my rages, but I don't want to do that in the, legendary levels because there is a lot of grazing hits, and adding power attack or, anything else is not gonna be good. So every core enhancement from this gives you additional 16 hit points and 3 magic resistance rating. The other 2 trees gives you armor proficiency heavy and nothing really. That these are worthless except for the 8 hit points and magic resistance rating. Now I went with the falconry here instead of going full nature protector. If you don't have falconry, you can switch to nature protector. But what I wanted to do here was get 1 extra point of strength, which is why it's odd, and get this core gives me 3 melee power, physical resistance rating, and magical resistance rating. It's a nice addition. I get 6 physical resistance rating over here, 15 in amplification, and 1 point of uselessness here. 42 saving throw. No, it's just balance, jump, and swim. Sorry. From the human tree, because I'm a human, I take even more healing amplification because healing amplification is always good. And 1 extra point, so it's 6 points from strength. Other than that, I don't think I've taken anything else. Alright, so that's, it is what it is. You can try something else. If you are a caster, you can go Druid Wolf and you can go caster. Which, the problem with Dungeons and Dragons is that you are either casting or meleeing. You can't do both reliably, because that's going to interrupt your attacks. Regardless, let's go and take a look-see at the epics. Now, Destiny points, 68. As you can see, there is no extra bonus points here. So what I want to do is be in my Shadow Dancer mantle and use Quick Cutter as my epic strike. Now, you can only have 1 mantle and 1 epic strike. You can take more of them, but they're gonna share the cooldown, so either use 1 or. So the mantle is gonna give me some stuff here that I don't really care, but it's gonna give me, if I upgrade it, it's gonna give me plus 25 incorporeality and 25% concealment. These are 2 different layers of protection. So the way, how do I explain this? Remember when you are playing XCOM and you had the auto shot and the snapshot and the aimed shot, but the snapshot had like 3 shots at 20% against maybe one aimed shot at 60%. And the snapshots were more reliable than the aim shots. That's the same thing with layers of defense. Now I have dodge, incorporeality, and concealment. Those are 3 layers at 25% chance each. So the enemy has to succeed 3 times consecutively. We gotta ignore armor because whatever. So that's a very good, and it also gives you featherfall, which, you know. So from the Shadow Dancer, we're going to take all the cores, and so from the Fury of the Wild, we're going to take the same. I'm going to take the sneak attack dice, everything that boosts your attack, your dodge, it's going to be good. I take this because it gives me the benefits of the Night Shield spell. As a druid, we don't have access to anything that allows us to defend from magic missiles, and you know, you don't want to take damage from magic missiles, especially if they are coming from a champion. You don't want that because they carry additional effects. I get stealthy because it gives me +3 reflex saving throws. I don't care about hide or move silently. As I said, 3 sneak attack dices. I take the elite, 6 reflex saving throws. Armor class, don't care. Light armor, max dex bonus, don't care. +5 force and universe. I mean, you could care if you are playing like with light armor. Makes sense. And you have a lot of dodge, right? That's gonna make sense. I also gonna take +3 to spell penetration, don't care, and 50% fortification bypass because I need to land those attacks, sneak attacks, and critical hits. I'm also gonna take Shadow Striker because I want double strike, and I'm also gonna make me immune to energy drain. And that's about it for the Shadow Dancer. Obviously I'm gonna take all the cores. Each core is gonna give me melee power, range power, 1 sneak attack dice. So I have 6 + 4, that's going to be 10 attack dice, sneak attack dice from just this. Then I have a +3 over here. It's going to be good. Also, anything else here? You gain the evasion feat if you don't have it. And then you get 3 dodge bypass, 3 fortification bypass, and 3% damage versus helpless. And that's about it. Also, you get Dimension Door, which is always a nice added bonus. Now, I went for the Legendary Dreadnought here to increase my melee power. Obviously, I take 2 cores. I also get +2 attack and damage with all weapons. I get a +3 to tactics disease. I get 10 maximum hit points. And I get this one. Your melee and range weapons gain the Ghost Touch and +1 imbue dice. I could just remove this, but you know, I just needed that. I could just remove it, honestly, but you know. I need to get to 5 points to access this one, which gives me an extra 5 melee power. Alright, you can change this enhancement tree with anything that gives you melee power. Maybe you may want an unyielding sentinel for that extra fortification. If you're fighting enemies with a high CR, you may want to consider that. Fury of the Wild is gonna be all force. It's gonna do the same thing as a melee destiny. It's gonna give you melee power and 8 points. I want Cutter because this is a big DPS tool. In fact, the difference you feel is going to be major. This thing is going to be devastating. Also going to give you dodge, which is always nice. I'm taking +3 to the trip DCs. I get an additional 3 bonus to my trip DCs. I get +6 physical resistance rating. Primal Scream, obviously. And I get improvements to my Quick Cutter. So I get +4 attack bonus. The effect of Ram's Might and Animal Growth are doubled. And the next one is going to be +4 attack bonus and 6 fortification bypass, rank 3 while 2 weapon fighting animal form, gain 2% damage with all attacks. And it's not stated in the toolbox, but this increases your Quick Cutter. Alright, this 2 will increase the damage your Quick Cutter does. If you take this 2, it goes to 3d6, which is a lot per character level. Then I take double strike with this 2 because I want those extra 9% double strike. I'm a DPS, all damage matters. This is good if I use Primal Scream, it doubles the damage. And if Adrenaline or Quick Cutter is active when you use Primal Scream, the damage is tripled instead. And enemies have a 75% chance of becoming confused for 3 seconds. No save. But you consume the charge. And this is the most important thing, the last one, the tier 5. We're gonna take the momentum because I don't know, you can skip this one. You can take something else like this one to get more HPs, or maybe get this one. Nature's Fury. This is obviously a choice because it gives you +1 bonus to your critical multiplier on 90s and 20s. And then the final thing is the Great Leveler. This is basically a guaranteed critical hit because it gives you +16 critical threat range, which is basically guaranteed critical. But what it does is that it does an AoE knockdown. And this is especially important because it trips the enemy for 2 seconds, so they get to make a saving throw to get up. But that's very important because as a glass cannon, you need to keep the enemy contained and not let them strike you. So with that being said, we're gonna go inside one of these quests. Can I get inside here? Hello, sir. Let's try this out. I may die horribly. I'm not going to play on Reaper because if you want a solo on Reaper, you need to have ways of healing you. I don't have a Hireling with me right now, so I'm not gonna play on Reaper. Plus, Hireling have a tendency of dying. And I really don't like the fact that a character that can self-heal gets nerfed by the Reaper's thing. You need to have enough Reaper points to sustain the healing. It's not about the Reaper. The Reapers are they're not an issue. The problem is sustaining. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, I'm casting buffs. Did I use Primal Scream? No. Let's use Primal Scream. So I think all my buffs are done here. So let's find someone. Yes, Will Wheaton, nobody cares about you. I think I need to go this way. So let's see if we can deal with this encounter, but I think there might be a spawn here. Okay, I got their attention. Stay behind the corners. Open with this one. Okay, they're all here. Drop the AoEs, as you can see. And then Cleave, Great Cleave, and Quick Cutter is gonna make short work of all the enemies. We can heal, back to full, and now we can attack this guy. Now we can attack this guy with different abilities. We can do a knockdown, or takedown. He saved. Saved again. Well, this guy's not doing anything really, so just die, bro. Alright, we have archers. Archers are your nemesis. So this is gonna be where my snow slide is gonna come in handy. I'm gonna take these guys down, as many as possible. As you can see, the damage is nice, but when it procs double strike... Okay, I'm not using my abilities here. I think damage is quite nice overall. There are more enemies over there. Again, if you want to survive, I strongly... Let's clear out this... There you go, there's a ward. And you can see I'm gonna use my Dispel Magic. Great Dispel Magic. To reduce the CR. Now, I'm not gonna dispel it because that's not my intention, but you can do that. You have to wait a little bit with the wolf, because you're gonna get a penalty to the cooldown of your spells. But as you can see, we disabled the first ward. And now there are some enemies here. Okay, I'm gonna use this one, I'm gonna use the Great Leveler, and then I'm gonna use Cleave, Great Cleave, and Quick Cutter. And most enemies are dealt with. I can use Primal Scream to finish them off. Nice, easy, we didn't take any damage. Keep in mind, this is a level 36 adventure on Epic Elite. If you have a better character with more items, more gear, more past lives, you can simply play this on Reaper if you want to. Now, we're gonna use Ghost Wolf here. I'm gonna use Cleave, Great Cleave, and Quick Cutter to take care of these guys. I can now knock down this guy, take down this guy because he survived. I don't know. Why did he survive, by the way? Only 84, that's weird. Whatever. May have tampered with my character, but whatever. Just oh, we have Nogre Commander over here. Can we take this guy down? For this particular type of guys, I want to proc my dodging ability. So we're gonna get this guy's attention. I'm gonna open with this. Do this. This guy is knocked down. Take down as many as possible. See the grazing hits? Those things are quite a lot. You will see a lot of grazing hits. There you go. And now let's finish this guy off. We can open the chest, but there is nothing, obviously. It is not. For gear, really, what you have is fine enough. As you can see, the damage is quite nice, all in all. It's a build that focuses on the number of crits, not on the quality itself. There might be better builds for that. Okay, stay close to the archers, knock down your enemies, and do the AoEs. And as you can see, you can take down big numbers of enemies just with this combo. This is going to be your rotation. If someone is still standing after your rotation is done, well, now snow slide. As you can see, it throws one guy, but it's bugged, so it's not gonna do much. We can use our Great Leveler, again, do the rotation, and this guy is dead. Alright, I took a lot of damage because I wanted to wait for the Great Leveler, but you don't have to do that. So as you can see, it's pretty decent as a build. It works, it's fine. You can dodge, that's no problem. Then you can do the Great Leveler and do the... Okay, get me that. And now there's only this guy. We can try to knock him down, but it did fail, so... Grazing it can be a problem, but most likely you will have a better cutter than me. But as you can see, we dealt with this encounter quite easily. And that's how this build works, actually. I'm in Shadow Dancer, so I have a lot of... also, my gear, it's nothing crazy. I have the Perfected Helm of the Red Dragon. I have the set from Barovia. The Adherent to the Mist. I think I have another set somewhere. Possibly? No. I don't. I was pretty sure I had another set on me. Well, whatever. It seems like I don't have it. So, it's a pretty average character. It's nothing crazy. You can get this gear from Sharn. I think this is the Dock Chain. You can get this one. I have the Epic Bloodstone. I never bothered to upgrade this one, and I'd like to keep it at level 20. It's gonna be more useful to me than in Legendary. So, a Legendary Mantle of Fury, this is gonna just do Into the Mist. They're fine. Legendary Vistani Sash, same thing, farm Into the Mist. I have Random Ring here that gives me speed. I have boots here that give me double strike, deadly, and sheltering. You can get all this stuff. You can even get better stuff. So once the set is complete, you're gonna be much more performing than me. But you know, I want specific stuff. I just got the Keylock ring, which is useless, but gives me the other end of the mist set. So it's I have level 23. Until I find something with resistance, you know, maybe I can slot something, but you know, I'm too lazy and I'm going for 7.5k favor. Anyways, it still works, alright? The build still works. Just make sure when you're playing in a group, you're not gonna stand still in the midst of enemies because they will take you down real quick. Now, all these compounded defenses, yeah, let's just say when there are 10 enemies cleaving at the same time, you're gonna take a lot of damage. And you're not being like a tanky character. So just bide your time, let someone take the aggro, drop in, knock them down, and do the rotation, cleave, great cleave, and quick cutter. Against bosses, you can easily kill any boss real quick. Like the cutter is gonna be a real boss killer because it's gonna apply a dot on these guys. You're gonna be dealing like 8k per tick, and that's fantastic. You just blast through the bosses, no problems. And you can deal with the trash mob. So that's the build, guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you will try this one out. And yeah, I will see you whenever. Take care.